Week 2 on its way of fantasy basketball. What a good week 1 it was. But here's a few guys that shouldn't be part of your fantasy basketball team at the guard position heading into week 2. The first guy is Jeff Teague of the Boston Celtics. Teague here, he's a veteran now, but he don't have much fantasy appeal. The first game of the season, I know he had a huge game, 19 points, 4 threes, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. But then versus Brooklyn, he had a horrible ball game. 0 for 5 from the field, 1 rebound, 2 assists, and a steal. And then yesterday versus Indiana, once again 0 for 6 from the field. He got all his points at the foul line, 9 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. So Teague, he's not doing much. He's just a veteran over there in Boston anyway, in my opinion, filling in till Kemba Walker comes back from injury. And with these field goal percentages and bad performances, this is a guy I easily could get away from in fantasy leagues with all the decent guard options on the waiver wire this week. So Teague, he's available in 51% of fantasy leagues. I think he should be dropped in more. And so far, his percentage has gone down 4% this week, but still owned at 49. The second guard I would cut Alfred Payton of the New York Knicks. I know Payton finally had a huge ball game last night versus the Milwaukee Bucks, but Payton, he's not going to shoot like that again from three-pointer. I just got to go from the track record where he hit 3 threes and 75% from the field with 27 points, 3 rebounds, 7 assists, and a steal. Payton, he's inconsistent. You could tell from his first 2 games. The first game of the year, 7 points, 3 for 7 from the field, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal. And then versus Philly the other night, 0 for 6 from the field, 3 rebounds and assists. Payton, I think it was just a fluky game. The Knicks, they got hot, and I think Milwaukee, they just weren't into it. And the Knicks destroying Milwaukee by 20 points. I just don't see it. I know Payton, he's got a decent schedule coming up. I don't think he's going to play well. The three-pointers definitely aren't going to be there, and he's not going to shoot 75% from the field. So Payton, he already got dropped in 3% of fantasy leagues coming into the day. So he's a guy I think I would drop. I don't buy the great ball game last night. I think it was just a fluke. The next guard I would drop is Derrick White of the San Antonio Spurs. White, a lot of people drafted him high, but he's been injured now for the whole season, and who knows how long he's going to be out with the toe injury. He's still owned in 75% of fantasy leagues. Right now, the Spurs, they got some other youngsters stepping up and playing well, like DeJounte Murray, Keldon Johnson, like I mentioned, Lonnie Walker. So White, I don't think I would hold on to him onto my roster, and I think he's a guy you easily could drop, and there's better options, like I've mentioned, Alec Burks, Dort, Ross, Clarkson, guys like that, because White, I don't know if he's going to play major minutes, and I don't know when he's coming back from this toe injury, so I would just drop him, even if I have an injured spot in my leagues. The next guard I would drop is Killian Hayes of the Detroit Pistons. Hayes, we heard a lot of hype about him coming out of the draft, and we thought he'd be the most ready player, but so far, I know it's 2 games, but he's not producing. His first game in Minnesota, 3 for 6 from the field, added a 3, 7 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists, and then versus Cleveland the other night, 1 for 7 from the field, 3 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. So it looks like Hayes, he's not going to do much in any category. He's not going to be a big scorer, it looks like, with Blake Griffin there, Grant, Plumlee, and a couple other players, Derrick Rose over there. So I don't think he's going to score great. He's a rookie. He's got to learn the rookie ways and the learning curve here in the NBA. And already owners are taking part in dropping him. His percentage has gone down 7%, and I've dropped him in a few fantasy leagues as well. Hayes, he's a project possibly. He's only 19 years old, so I don't expect a huge season out of him. I thought he would have a good year because he's starting, but right now I could drop him, and if he gets hot again, you just go out there and pick him up. And the 5th and final guard I would drop, this news just coming in, Spencer Dinwiddie of the Brooklyn Nets, another bad injury for Dinwiddie, and this is going to cost him the season, it looks like, for the Nets, and this is a big blow. This guy, high hopes that he's going to be 6th Man of the Year candidate, but a partially torn ACL, it was over for Dinwiddie, and he was playing anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes a game. But his season's over. He's still owned in 42% of fantasy leagues, but there's no reason to stash him or hold on to him and you just drop them. So that's a few guards I would drop here heading into week 2 of the fantasy basketball season.